Hey, what's up, everybody? Good evening. We are back. Episode 3, week 3, chapter 3, whatever you want to call it, man. SeLah's spot. We are here. I'm your host, Kellen Levy. We are here at Choice International Ministries in LaPlace, Louisiana, or as some of my friends would say, LaPlace, Louisiana. So, with that being said, we'd love to give a big shout out, a big thank you to Bishop Antoine Jasmine for once again letting us use this great place to stream live here on Facebook. So look, while y'all at it, make sure you guys go ahead and invite your friends, share this video, put some hearts on the screen so everybody can see what we're doing. Man, if you're back from last week, if you're back from the week before, we appreciate you guys for tuning in again. Like I said, go ahead, take some time, man. Go ahead and invite some of your friends so they can see what's going on, so we can get some views, get our views up out here. So I got a jam-packed show for y'all today, man. Wonderful show. It's episode 3. We are moving. But first, I would like to give a big shout out to our guests from last week. Everyone who tuned in. Beautiful voice. She sang for y'all a little bit. So that was awesome. And shoot, it just was a great show. Before we get into today's show, though, I want to let you guys know, remind you guys again, we have a lot going on in this season with SeLah's Productions Incorporated. That's including Javon Ophelia's Act, which is basically, I guess you would say, just acting classes, singing classes, and dancing classes for you guys. It's not excluding anyone. We're not picky about it. If you feel like you're led, if you feel like God has put a vision in your heart to do arts for the kingdom, Javon Ophelia's Act is for you. And please don't hesitate to be a part of it. You can get in touch with us at this page, which is Javon Ophelia Butler. If you're not friends with her currently, make sure that you go ahead and friend her. And if you're friends with her, make sure that you go ahead and hit that follow button so you can see everything that's going on. Also, because I know Ms. Javon posts a lot, make sure you also follow the SeLah's Productions Incorporated page on Facebook. So even if you right after this episode, don't stop, but right after this episode, make sure you go ahead and follow the SeLah's Productions Incorporated page to make sure that you're keeping up with everything that we have going on, man. This new season, I'm telling you, we're going into 2018 full speed. We are not playing at all, man. This is all for the kingdom. This is all for the Lord, and just trying to uplift people. As we say here at SeLah's Productions, we aspire to inspire. So we're trying to inspire you to use your gifts to uplift the kingdom of the Lord. No matter where you are at this point while you're watching this, we want to inspire you. We aspire to inspire you to use your gifts for the Lord. So just a little bit about Javon Ophelia's Act, and I can say this from a personal perspective. Man, this is a very professional production company. I came here with little to no experience, and as we said last week, as humbly as possible, we've been nominated for multiple awards. So, man, it's really a professional experience for a very affordable price. And it's not, limited. Anybody can be a part of it as long as your heart's in it for the right reasons. Even if at this particular point you're not acting or singing or dancing for the Lord, you can always make that change. So you can get in touch with us. Like I said, just go ahead and follow the Facebook page. You can follow this page, Javon Ophelia Butler. Make sure you hit the follow. Just because you're friends don't mean you're following her. Make sure you go ahead, hit that follow button. Also, you can log on to www.selahproductionsincorp. That's INCORP.org. Make sure you log on to that, man. You can check out all the stuff that we have going on. We got some cool gear that you can go ahead and shop. Do all the cool stuff, man. All the cool stuff that you see, you can be a part of it. Just make sure you're engaged, active, and you can definitely be a part of it. So, with that being said, I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to overtalk you guys. But we have some very, 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 very special guests today. People who, if you've been a part of the SeLah fam, you know what I mean, you've seen these faces before. First up, it is my pleasure, my absolute pleasure, look, she's laughing, my absolute pleasure to bring up Jamila Jones. Y'all give her a round of applause. How you doing, Jamila? Come and have a seat. Oh man, so good to see you, man. I haven't seen Jamila since the last production. It's crazy how, you know, when you see the people who you've been in touch with for so long, and those steady rehearsals day in and day out, man, you're just so happy to see people. Yeah. And we've become family since then. So I would like to, you know, from me, welcome to the show. How does it feel to be a part of the show?
It feels good. It's good to see you again.
Oh, man, thank you.
It's good to be in the SeLah's house again.
Absolutely, man. This is SeLah's fam right here. For those of you who know, y'all know who this is, man. If it had not been for the Lord, and if it had not been for the Lord, the sequel, Jamila Jones, this is Sandy Reed.
Yeah.
She plays the first lady in the play. She's my mother in the play, my sweet, caring, loving mother. And she, man, let me tell you, whew, man, Jamila is the truth on the stage, man. When that anger comes out, it comes out, y'all. I can tell you that. And you know, one thing that I always said about Jamila during rehearsals and especially once we got on the stage, she owned Sandy. Like, I truly believe that everything Miss Javon wrote and inspired for Sandy to be, Jamila became that, you know. And it took a while for all of us to kind of get into our roles, but man, once you got that anger down pat, because we know Sandy went through some stuff, but man, you brought that role to life, and I just want to, you know, commend you on that before we get started with this interview.
Thank you.
So,
thank you, Kelly.
Oh man, it's all love. So, Jamila, shoot, man, what you been up to? I know we've been gone since July as far as the production. What you been up to as far as your work inside the Kingdom of the Lord?
Kingdom, still learning. So I find that you know, you have your peak season, peak season, and then you have your season where you're just really at rest, you know, just waiting for the next assignment.
Absolutely.
In a sense. So I think that's where I am, you know, because with the play, it was hectic. You know, we were constantly learning lines, working on our actions, doing everything we had to do. So I find that I'm in a rest period, but you know, at any point in time, you just gotta be ready to get back in there. You
Absolutely,
know, so
man.
just learning, you know, kingdom wise, just learning and praying and you know, learning to hear. You know.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's definitely such a blessing to have you on the show today because I feel like you can present a different perspective. You know, on last week we interviewed my mom, who Ms. Javon calls SeLah's mom, and we interviewed Miss Carlos. You know, Miss Carlos, our guest soloist, who has a very anointed voice. Man, Miss Carlos brings the house down every time she sings. But the perspective that you bring is the main character perspective. You know, someone who's on the stage for pretty much every scene in both the original production and the sequel.
Right.
So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, and you know, our audience will kind of learn more about your journey to SeLah's a little bit later. How did it feel? Because this last production, guys, was her first production with SeLah's Productions. How does it feel to be? Because you know, a lot of times people get into things and they start off slow, but you got into it and was thrusted straight into a main character. So how was that for you? How was that adjustment?
Well, I first have to say I was very grateful because that was a lot. That the role was huge, and Ms. Javon, she entrusted. This was a huge role that she gave me.
Yeah. Not
really seeing me, you know, on stage. Absolutely. You know, so first very grateful for it. But how was the experience? It was, you know, the learning of the lines. It seemed a little hectic at first. But you know, it was actually fun. Like the actual production, it was on the roll. It was so much fun. It's like when I get back on the stage again, and literally I was like on the stage, like
almost every scene,
and just the different scenes. I was able to really build relationships with like you and Pastor Reed, you know, Troy Cooper, and you know, it was good. So I was able to build relationships, and it was fun. You know, it made me I really feel like I evolved as an artist.
Absolutely.
So yes.
Man, that's wonderful. And as you was talking just now, I thought about something that we talked about earlier. You told me how a huge part of the reason it was so easy for you to make that transition is because the SeLah's fam, we make people comfortable. Just because someone is new, we don't make them feel some type of way just because they're new. We try to make people feel as comfortable as possible. And with you having such a large task, coming straight into it, man, you had probably, if not the most lines, it had to be between, basically the Reed family had the most lines, So for you to come straight into it and have such a large role, man, that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
But you were able to do it. Talk a little bit about what you feel got you through that. Obviously, you had fun with us, but what else got you through, having such a large role?
Well, I had fun with you all, but I also had support from you all. So every practice wasn't the glorious. You were working, and things were being pulled out of you. Like every practice wasn't like I'm going home like, oh, I had so much fun. It was fun, but it was work. Yeah. And I had support, from you and other different, cast members, Ms. Javon as well. So it give me tips, I take away different things, and I'm applying things that that my other cast members, have suggested to me. So not only fun, but I really had a supportive network as well to grow. It was a nurturing environment, with criticism and, feedback. Everything wasn't a pat on the back. You're doing great all the time. No, constructive, feedback. So, yes.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, man, we got to realize that although we have fun, this is serious business. Right. You know what I mean? We're not only performing, but we're ministering.
Right.
So with that being said, kind of talk about, obviously this is art. This is an art form. It's a form of art. But we all know we're a part of it because we believe in the ministry behind it.
Right.
We don't only believe in just, okay, let's get on the stage and recite these lines. Right. We know that there's a ministry and a bigger message behind it. Right. So from your perspective, why do you think the ministry behind the productions are so important for the world to see?
Because it tells different people's story. I would say a production like this, anyone can relate to it. Yeah. Can pull from it, can get encouragement from it. Can relate. Normally, when you can relate to things, you're more prone to listen and to receive healing. And,
absolutely.
Bring it to light. When you can relate to different things. So I think it's important. At first, I remember coming in, doing this production has kind of changed my whole outlook on, I guess, real life in a sense. Yeah. You may look at it like, look at this dysfunction. This is just so dysfunction. Right. But unfortunately, that's the scenario. Yeah. That's life. The issue is, so now the issue is, how do we deal with it? I guess first you have to admit it. You have to own to it, own up to it. So you can correct it. So. It just shows, it makes you feel comfortable. Like we're living, we have to walk this thing out, every day, and it's okay. Let's talk about it. Right. It's a platform, to talk about it, communication. So that's how I think one of the ways it can help. Plays. It's very important to see productions of this sort.
Absolutely. It's ironic that. It's ironic that in your answer just now, you said, let's talk about it. Yeah. Did you catch the reference?
Mom, let's
talk about it. So let's get into your character a little bit. And obviously, if you're familiar with our previous production, if it had not been for the Lord and the sequel, I played Joel. Joel is Sandy Reed's son. So let's talk about it. Your character, Sandy Reed. let's talk a little bit about your character. What are some of the traits for people who may not know? Let's talk a little bit about Sandy Reed.
Sandy Reed. Traits of Sandy Reed. She's a proud mother, a proud wife. She actually quit her job. She worked. She was working.
Working hard.
Her working real hard. And she quit her job to help her husband. So she was a helper, a helpmeet, you know, help her husband. She loved her kids, take care of her kids, her family, because you had the brother, you know, she was polite, you know, she was sweet. You know, she was just, I gotta do everything right in a sense. You know, Miss Perfect in a sense, you know. And everyone loved her. Well, I think a lot of people loved her.
I think everybody loved her.
I think a lot of people loved her and didn't expect for her to, expected her to be perfect in a sense,
Absolutely.
you know? So, you know, she had that I feel like pressure on her from other people as well. You know, even her family, even her sons, you know, so.
Almost perfect in Joelle.
But loving woman, helpful woman, love being a wife, love being a mother, you know, so, and love being a first lady, I guess, in the first place, you know, at least. So.
Yeah. So look, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about, you know, obviously you talk about a lot of the positive traits of Sandy Reed. Now, you know, Sandy Reed isn't just a character. Sandy Reed is, that role was written and played by you for a reason, because there were people out there in that audience who needed to see what Sandy Reed went through. It was a ministry in that role.
Right.
So let's kind of talk about why do you think that role was, you know, why you were chosen for that role, and what kind of message did Sandy send out to the people out there in the audience and everyone who might see the play? Because, you know, you can't be Superwoman all the time.
Right.
Even you can be the holiest person in the world, you will be tested. So kind of talking to the audience a little bit about the ministry that Sandy Reed presents, just in her overall character.
To not feel like you always have to be so perfect. I mean, you know, like, I think that's what it was. She was set up to be this woman of perfection, kind of like self-righteousness in a sense, you know? So it's, you know, like, I just felt like it was a lot of pressure on her, and she put it on. I won't say she put it on herself as well, but she had to. It was a bar she had gotten to.
She accepted it. Yeah,
and she had to constantly be on that bar of perfection, you know, and. And it's okay. It's okay to not be able to do something. It's okay to say no.
Absolutely.
It's okay to get angry. It's okay to do those different things, you know, like be honest with yourself. So yeah, I think that Sandy just being okay with messing up sometimes.
Right.
You know, God loves me regardless, you know. And being very honest with people and letting them know, like, hey, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that. So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Man, you gotta love Sandy Reed. You gotta love Sandy Reed, man. Sandy Reed is an example of, you know, what people should strive to be. And although sometimes we may falter, you'll still always be led back to God if you have that faith. So one more question, Jamila, before we go ahead and wrap it up. And I'd love to say it was a pleasure to have you on the show today. One thing that I've been stressing to our audience is, you know, how open this SeLah's family is. And I want people to know just how great of a production company, and not only production company, but a ministry we're dealing with here. So I would like to kind of let you just talk about a little bit about your journey to SeLah's. And how did that happen? It was really organic from my understanding.
It was. Actually, there were several people that I attended church with. So actually a flyer. It started with a flyer. I got a flyer the year before. And I was in acting a little bit. I had more of a background in dance, but I may have had like a little experience in acting as well. So I got that flyer at church, you know, and I went to the performance. And it made me think, you know, sometimes, especially if you're in a God a God idea, a God performance, you know, you'll have, you know, he'll give you something. He'll give you vision. So I felt free to just, I just was thinking more and exploring more. So I'm glad I went to that performance. And as I wrote my email down, in the following year, I just got an email about auditions, and I felt led to audition. I wasn't at the moment, you know, really looking for work, because I really want kingdom assignments. I don't want to do anything. I wanted to have purpose. So when I got that email, I couldn't let it go. Yeah. I had to explore it. I had to go to the audition. And I didn't even have current headshots at the time. But you know, when God wants you, when it's something for you, it'll flow. Yeah, you just have to take that step. You just have to take the step. And, you know, everything flowed together. And I went to the audition, and I was able to meet Miss Javon and Miss Andrea and Miss Yolanda. And they were a pleasure. You know, I felt like I was in God's, you know, I was around people, you know, with like minds and like hearts more importantly. So, so since then, you know, I'm very happy to be a part of SeLah's.
Absolutely. Been rolling ever since.
I've been growing, you know.
Absolutely. So guys, that's just another testament, man. If you feel led, just make sure that you guys go ahead and contact us. Jamila went from little to no acting experience to, one of the main characters. Jamila, thank you so much once again. We appreciate you coming on the show today, and we look forward to seeing more of your growth here in SeLah's Productions. Y'all give her a round of applause if you're watching. So, guys, coming up next, we have, as special of a guest as you can get, guys. I mean, Can I get a little drum roll back there if you're watching? She is the director and playwright, the award-winning director and playwright, 2017 Church Stars Network, the visionary of SeLah's Productions Incorporated, Mrs. Javon Ophelia Butler.
Bless you.
Yes,
wow.
Lord.
We got a lot of people watching. Thank y'all for watching. Praise God. Amen.
Have a seat, woman
Yes,
of God.
sir. Thank you so much.
You are on the show.
I'm telling you, looking good in that kingship seat.
You looking fresh in them brown boots.
I'm trying. You know I try.
Man, look, y'all, we are here, man. Make sure you hit that share button, hit that invite button. Throw us some hearts if you're loving the show so far, man. So episode 3, and you finally made it on.
Number 3, that's my number. That's my number. That's my number, number 3.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about that. Why that's your number?
Well, you know, like God worked with me in 3. And so restoration, refreshing, you know, something new, renewal.
Absolutely.
And so number 3 has always been my number. Shows start at 3 p.m. You caught that? All right.
I caught that.
3 and 7, the number of completion. And so I'm just happy to be here. I want to just thank everybody for watching. You all have been a tremendous blessing to SeLah's. And so I just want to thank everybody. We want y'all to roll those hearts.
Absolutely.
Give us some hearts. As we continue with SeLah's Spot, we're going to have like question times, and maybe we can kind of answer some people's questions. But
kind of interact with everyone.
Yes. And I am so very proud of this young man, nominated Best Actor, Church Stars, Joel, if it had not been for the Lord. If it had not been for the Lord, where would you be? Where would we all be?
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
And that's a question that I want to ask you guys too, man. Where would we all be if it had not been for the Lord? But let's go ahead and kind of dive into the mastermind of Ms. Javon Ophelia Butler, man.
Wow.
What has been going on? Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on. I know we got a busy 2018 coming up with SeLah's Productions and other endeavors. What can you tell us?
Well, you know, we are doing a lot. SeLah's Productions have been tremendously blessed by God. The opportunities and the open doors are just continuing to just open, and as God leads me, I continue to walk through. And so I'm excited that He allowed me to have such an awesome cast, that big family. Look at that picture right there.
This is family.
Yes, and I just believe that everybody that's attached to me is blessed. And so I think that with SeLah's, we try to aspire to inspire.
Absolutely.
And so now, we got the series coming out for If It Had Not Been for the Lord.
Oh, y'all heard that?
People still are not satisfied with the ending. A tremendous play, nominated by Church Stars. Special thanks to Miss Nicole, who is the blessed president of Church Stars. And so, with that being said, we just got a lot of things going on. We have a new production that's coming. Y'all better get ready. Y'all better get ready for the ride. I'm telling you, it's gonna be awesome.
She told me briefly about kind of what it's gonna be, y'all. It's a whole another level in 2018.
Yes.
So what else we got going on?
Oh my God, we got Giovanna Fia's act, of course. A lot of people didn't know, but I danced for 13 years. I taught for 2. And so, it's funny because, and this is just, a shout out to the parents and the children that's watching. A lot of times, our parents make us, do things that we don't want to do. And so dancing was never something that I really liked. And so when they first asked me to teach dancing at the church, I kind of was like, I'm not teaching that, And so with that being said, I'm glad that I listened and I was obedient to my mother. And I continue to learn dancing, and so now we are able to do the Anointed Tribe of Judah praise dances and all of that. But we got all kind of stuff. Giovanna Fia's act is also mixed in acting. Of course, you're a coach for Giovanna Fia's act, and so Kalen he's an excellent actor, and so he will be one of my coaches as well. We have Stacia, who is actually one of our dancers in the productions, yes, and then we'll have Brandy helping on SeLah's side, who is our lead dancer. So we got a lot of things going on. A lot of traveling is getting ready to happen. If it had not been for the Lord, get ready for it to come to a city near you. And so we're just gearing up 2018, a year of beginnings. 18 also means bondage. So everything that has happened in 2017, we need to let it go, leave it alone so that we don't bring it into that new season.
Absolutely.
And so that's some of the things that's going on with SeLah's. We're excited.
Some of the things.
Yes.
After speaking on a multitude of things.
Absolutely.
So that just goes to show you the spirit of excellence involved with SeLah's Productions. Now, a lot of people out there a lot of times people would name their production companies or name their brand without having a real meaning behind it. Now, I know from just talking to you over the years that SeLah's is something special in your heart. Talk a little bit about what SeLah's means.
First, let me just stop. I kind of be all over. I want to give a shout out and a huge thank you to my Bishop, Antoine Michael Jasmine. We thank him for allowing us to use the space here at Choice, the event place in La Place, Louisiana. Right now, he is in Ghana, Africa. So I hope he's watching. Thank you so much, man of God. Tremendously blessed man of God. And so with that being said, SeLah's came to me. It was interesting. God gave me that name. The Lord gave me that name. And when he gave me that name, I kept it for a year, and I didn't tell anybody. And sometimes when God gives you something, that's concerning about who you are in destiny, you have to learn how to be quiet and don't say anything. And so I knew that I was going to have a production company a year before it even happened. It had already happened in the spirit realm. That scripture says, not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. And so a lot of times, Zechariah 4:6, a lot of times in our lives, God has already did it in the spirit realm, but we're just waiting for the manifestation to happen here on earth. And so a lot of people that know me, being the past president of the NAACP, being very active in the community, people thought that I probably would have been a public official or a representative, a senator, something along those lines. And not saying that I'm not, but I'm just saying for right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing playwriting, And when he gave me the name, I kept it. And so the Sunday that I scheduled the meeting, he had released me to go ahead and gather everybody that, he had showed me to be a part of SeLah's. And that Sunday, I never forget it. I was sitting in church. And at the time, I was a member of the Greater King Triumph Baptist Church. And I said, I was in my prayer, I said, God, I feel the release to, go ahead and say the name, I said, can I say the name to the group, And so my pastor, he was up, preaching that day, and he said, I want to preach about a word, And I'm sitting in the choir stand, just kind of looking around. I had just finished directing the choirs and stuff. And so he said, I want to talk about a special word is known in Habakkuk and also in the song. So I was just sitting there. He said, I want to preach about SeLah's. I could have passed out because that was confirmation to me for God to say, now
This
it
is
is
the time,
time.
yeah.
And a lot of times God give us vision, he give us purpose, but we have to wait our turn and we have to wait our time. We can't do anything out of the season.
Absolutely.
Because when we walk out of the season, then the Lord is not with us.
Yeah.
And so we have to, be patient, not be anxious. I mean, I could have ran in the middle of that year of waiting, but guess what? I waited until he released the vision. It says that it's for an appointed time. And though it tarry, wait for it, and it will surely come.
Yep.
And so with that being said, that's Habakkuk 2:4. And so I was obedient all the way. It was real hard. A lot of times I wanted to tell my family, but I couldn't say it because God had forbidden me. He kind of made me like Zechariah. He shut my mouth. He didn't want me to say anything.
You have to keep it on the wraps.
That's right. And because I did that, because of my obedience and my faithfulness, it says, if you are willing and obedient, as Isaiah 1:19, he said, I will give you the good of the land. He said, but if you are disobedient, then you're going to suffer destruction. So because of my obedience, he honored that. And this is why this production company is so blessed. I count it as an honor and a privilege, humbly, that he chose me to even do something like this in this dispensation, in this time. And, through SeLah's, I have met so many wonderful people, like Miss Jamila, who just got off. I mean, it's a tremendous blessing to SeLah's. And I think what makes SeLah's different is a lot of times when you do casting calls and things like that, you meet a lot of people, but a lot of them may not have what you call the it factor. And Jamila was one of those kind of people. And she brought me back, and I thought about when I met her at Instaball in New Orleans, Cafe Instaball. And I think what God is doing with this production company is he is taking people, he sets them in front of us, in front of the casting crew, and even though they may not show it at that time, there is something hidden inside of them that he's trying to pull out. And so he's using me as a vessel in the earth realm to choose those individuals who he has chosen. And so if I had to choose, I probably would not have selected a lot of people that I saw. But because I can hear the Spirit of the Lord, and he tells me who he wants, prophetically, report to her, she kept having problems in rehearsals. And I said, now what is wrong with her? Why is she doing that? And so after rehearsal one night, she stayed back. And I was like, okay, I'm tired. Why is she staying back? Because I'm human, like, I'm tired, I'm so tired. Because, rehearsals are in 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Especially at crunch time.
Absolutely. And so I was like, God, why is she staying back? And so when everybody left, she came to me, she said, Ms. Javon, I want to talk to you. I said, okay. I said, what's going on? She said, the reason why I cannot do this part, she said, is because, she said, I am that woman.
Wow.
I said, you are that woman? She said, yes, I'm the woman in the script.
Wow.
I said, so you're telling me that you're messing with someone else's husband? And she said, yes, ma'am. She said, and that's why I'm not going to do the part. I said, well, but you will.
Right. Because she
I said, because
that,
absolutely. I said, this is conviction. I said, and God is trying to take you out of that place.
Absolutely.
And I told her, I said, that husband is not for you. I said, so you're going to have to do this part. And I said, I believe that you're going to be delivered at some point. And guess what? Till this day, that part delivered her. It changed her life.
Wow.
And she is no longer even desire to mess with that man.
That's powerful.
And that's what SeLah's is all about.
Absolutely.
To aspire to inspire people.
Yeah.
Who are you? Who has God created you to be? A lot of times we waste our time working 9 to 5s and we doing things in the earth realm that has nothing to do with who God has called us to be. And so tonight I just wanted to come on to just kind of bless the people, to let them know that, whatever your vision is, whatever you're supposed to be doing, make sure that you're doing it. Working towards it, making steps. Let me tell you something. When I was getting ready to come out to SeLah's, I said, wow. I said, I don't have to call anybody to be on anybody's show. I said, God, I created a door, and this is SeLah's show. His show. I didn't have to wait for somebody to call me. I created my door. When you walk in vision, whoever God has connected to your life to make that vision come to pass, guess what? those individuals will meet you. And so I want to tell the audience tonight, whatever that thing is that you're supposed to be doing, do it. Mm-hmm. If you know how to do hair, then go get your license. Stop doing it in your kitchen. Go get your license so that you can find a building. I don't have no money, Ms. Javon. Guess what? God will bless you as you walk. Every time I start a production, I can tell you, I start with a penny. And when I go places and speak, I want people to know that. A lot of times people say, well, I don't have the money. Right. Guess what? But God got the money. Mm-hmm. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes
He owns a cattle on 1,000 hills, don't he? So whatever we supposed to be doing, we have to walk by faith and not by sight. Yeah. Isn't that what faith is? Mm-hmm. Is the evidence of things that's what? That's not seen. Yep. And so I want people to stop wasting their time on things that are vain living. This is about to be 2018. Who has God called you to be? Mm-hmm. You need to be that person. The enemy will try to sidetrack you, distract you, have people to come out and discourage you. Do you know how many times I've been discouraged? Do you know how many times I wanted to quit? This journey has not been easy. And as I continue, I know it won't be. Because if I'm the image of Christ and the world hated him, they're going to hate me too. Right. But God says, I deliver you from out of all of your troubles. And so whatever you're supposed to be doing, I want you to make a vow tonight. When you make this vow tonight, say, God, who have you called me to be? Or if you know who he has called you to be, then you need to walk and work toward your calling. Because they have people waiting in the gap for you. And so God is a God of time. And so we want to make sure that we be everything that the Lord has called us to be. Because everybody has steps. What are you waiting for? The time will never be right in your life. This world is full of troubles. So I want you to start taking steps toward your destiny. Be who God has called you to be. You know, when you run into roadblocks, the Lord is going to deliver you from out of that. Don't be afraid. God has not given us the spirit of fear. If you have a fearing spirit, that comes from the enemy, and we bind him in the name of Jesus. And so I just want to encourage you all. Kellen never have done talk show hosting. And I think he's doing very well. Y'all put some hearts up there. Kellen is doing well. He didn't know that he had that in him. And that's what God's trying to do with you all on tonight. And still me as well. Who has God called you to be? Who has told you that you cannot be it? You have to make sure that you understand that when God birthed you into the earth realm, he called you to do something for him. Everything that we do is for the glory of God. And so I want everybody to understand on tonight. I just wanted to stop by just to encourage that individual. Absolutely. What is your gift? Are you supposed to be an elected official? Are you supposed to be a TV broadcaster? Well, I got to go to school. I don't have no money. Guess what? You pray about that thing. You start calling those things to you. And those of you who do not have a relationship with God, you need to become closer to him so that you can understand the things of God. And so I just want to encourage everybody tonight. Stop waiting. Your situations will never be all perfect. So stop saying, well, I'm waiting to do this and I'm waiting for that. No. Start walking now. Now is the time for you to start walking towards your destiny. God is so gracious and he's so awesome. And he wants to see you become who he has called you to be. And so I just wanted to stop by to tell our Facebook friends. Shout out Facebook. I'm telling you, they are awesome. Absolutely. I want them to know that God loves them. Absolutely. And he wants them to be who he has called them to be. I would have never thought I would have been a playwright. A lawyer, right. Yes, but not a playwright. Mm-hmm. But if that's what he wants me to be, I will be who you call me to be. That's what I'll be.
And that just speaks to obedience. You know?
Absolutely.
We have a lot of conversations, you know, as you was talking earlier about how you started a lot of productions with a penny.
Absolutely.
And, you know, over the years, me and you've had conversations and you talk about how in certain situations you may not have thought you may get this theater or whatever it may be, but you stayed obedient.
Absolutely.
You knew that God wanted that particular thing to happen. We needed to perform in that particular theater or that particular date. You know, so just speak a little bit about your obedience and how that has changed your life.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Obedience is how I found God. 1 Samuel 15:22. I'm telling you, obedience is better than sacrifice. If you want to see God cut up in your life, obey him. The Lord enjoys us obeying him. We are supposed to have a reverential fear of God.
Yeah.
What does that mean? We're supposed to fear him just because of who he is.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be mindful of what we're doing before him. The Lord sits on the throne day and night. He don't sleep, nor does he slumber. And so the things that we do before him, we should have a reverential fear and an obedient spirit to want to be who he has called us to be. I mean, shouldn't that be our reasonable service?
Of course.
Isn't that Romans 12:1? Huh?
Yes, indeed.
He said, the Lord died for us. So the most that we can do, we can never pay him back for what he done for us. But we can listen to what he's asking us to do.
Of course. And,
Absolutely.
And with a spirit of excellence at all points.
With a spirit of excellence,
Absolutely.
Caleb.
You know, obedience is a common theme, I think, in the production company from what I've seen thus far, because just speaking from my perspective, I remember when I got the role of Joel. Y'all told me you got this role because you were obedient.
Absolutely.
You came to rehearsal on time. And although I had a small role at first, I obeyed the vision that he gave you.
Yes,
you know,
praise
and you and I talk all the time. Although I'm a visionary, I'm a part of your vision.
Praise God.
So I'm going to give your vision 100% because it would be selfish of me to not do so. Just talk a little bit about, you know, you spoke earlier on how when God gives you cast members or even people to help, you know, to be assistants and assist us, they may not be all the way there. They may not be all the way molded into, you know, I guess you say what it means to be a part of SeLah's. But the beautiful part of SeLah's is we take you how you are. Absolutely. And God has given you the gift to mold people into, I guess you would say, an asset. What pride do you take in that? The fact that God has given you that gift to take people who may not be all the way there and get them to that point.
Well, let me just piggyback on just what you said. When you talked a little bit about being a visionary and actually working in another person's work. I'm not going to say another man's work because I'm a woman.
Right.
Proud woman. But what I'm saying, I'm boss lady. That's what they call me, y'all.
SeLah's.
Yes. But the thing about it is, when you talk about that, I labored and labored in other people's vision. I really did. And I did it for years. I didn't get a penny. And I didn't ask for it. I had one woman that God tell me, she said, every time I see you, I'm going to give you $1,000. And every time she saw me, that's what she gave me. And the bottom line is, when you sow, you reap a good harvest. And I sowed so many years like that. And that's why God has blessed me with you. Because you are actually a resemblance of what I used to do. Yeah, God had greatness birthed in me, but I humbled myself in other people's work and still doing it. I still do it. Because let me tell you something, the greatest is the servant in the kingdom of God. If you learn how to be a servant, then you got something. Because everything that we do, God created us to glorify him. These bodies, we borrow in these bodies, nothing is our own. And so if God asks you to serve, then you're supposed to do just that without a problem. You know, a lot of people get kind of puffed up and, you know, they don't want to do this. When I'm asked to do something, even if I don't want to do it, I check myself. I say, okay, Javon, check yourself. And I still do it. Because it's not about me. Let me tell you, serving God is not your feelings. Serving God is obedience. It doesn't matter how you feel. You serve him because it's right. You see what I'm saying? And so God has blessed me with you because I used to labor and labor and labor in other people's work. And you know, a lot of people say, well, they got to pay me for this or they got to pay me for that. And sometimes God will allow you to be around the king.
Of course. Just
the presence of the king. Jesus, I felt that in the Holy Ghost. Just being in the presence of the king is a blessing. Just being around the anointing is a blessing. You see what I'm saying? Because the oil that pours, come on, Aaron, when the oil that pours off that person falls on you, you already blessed. You see what I'm saying? Winning season. What she says with that little girl, Jaquela Carr, said, everything attached to me is blessed. And so you don't have to get paid all the time. Your payment is that you are in the presence.
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of times it's bigger than money, you know?
Absolutely. Let me tell you, we need money to survive.
Absolutely.
I had one person give me $10,000 to do a play at the Mahalia Jackson in New Orleans. One person. And I said, wow, God, this is a lot of money. At that time, to me, it was. But now that I did a lot of production, $10,000 is like $10. You know, I'm just being real. But what I'm saying is, what I'm really trying to say is this. We have to learn how to serve. We have to learn how to serve the man or the woman of God. Yeah. We have to be servants. And we have to mean it from out of our spirit. Because when we serve, we worship God. Yeah. Through our spirit. I felt the Lord just now. And people need to understand it's not about your name being called. It's not. Now, if God does, God will exalt you in the presence of your enemies. He does that. And so it's okay if he exalts you, but let him exalt you. Don't exalt yourself. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. And so that's so important. And you have to wait for God to tell you to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. You can't go trying to run out there by yourself, because guess what? If you exalt yourself, you're going to fall by yourself. But if you exalt and God exalts you, then you're going to stay where you're supposed to be. And so serving is something wonderful. And this is in my spirit. Do not always want to get paid. It's not about that. Yeah, you got a gift, but guess what? God gave you that gift. Did Jesus get paid to preach? Right, for real. Now, the Bible says that a man is, he's worth it to, be paid of his labor. And I understand that. But now in these times, people are really doing too much. And saying that God done said it, and God has not said anything. Because anything the Lord says is going to be in line with his word. Absolutely. That's it. That's absolutely. And so with that being said, the second part of your question, you asked me about, I think you was talking about the obedience, about how I felt about the theaters.
Well, just about how, how you feel as a director, and the fact that God gave that vision to you. But I would say, and this is just my opinion, the amount of professionalism that comes with SeLah's Productions, a person from the outside would think that most of us come to you already seasoned veterans as far as acting. And, I mean, shoot, a large majority of us don't. We have little to no acting experience. So how does it make you feel as a director to know that God has given you the gift to choose those people who not only don't have very much acting experience, but may not be fully, I guess you would say, still growing spiritually?
Well, let me just say this. And a lot of people tell me I have a mothering spirit. I don't have, biologically, at this point in time in my life, I don't have any kids, nor am I married. But God has blessed me with, I would say, ornaments. Ornaments. My ornaments are people. Yeah. Okay? And so he has given me the grace to be able to sit still enough to be able to embrace those that don't have what they need to be in a production company. But see, God is a God of all knowing. And so when he does, speak to me, and I thank God for my prophetic gift, that I can hear him. I know people say, oh, you can't hear God. No, I can hear him. And so the bottom line is, when he tells me who it is, I picked them because he picked them. Yeah. God chose you. And I tell them, God done chose you to do this thing. And then when the production is over, they cry and they say, I see why God chose me. So really the production itself is prophetic. It's a prophetic production company. Yeah. And God's presence, you've been in a theater, God will come and saturate that place with his presence. He come in and he just sat down. Yeah. Am I right about
Absolutely,
it? Yeah. And it's just awesome what he do because of our obedience as a cast. All of us being on one accord. Are we all perfect? No, we're not. But God gives us grace and mercy to be able to put on a performance that's almost perfect.
It's interesting because as well prepared as we always are, things just happen on stage sometimes.
It does.
But the way that he just comes in and just flips it around and turns it how he wants, because we can rehearse as much as we want, but whatever he wants to come out on that stage at that time, that's what happens. And whoever's in that audience who may need to hear it, see it, or just witness it as a whole, he makes sure that that's what they get.
And you know, this brought me back all the way to the St. John Theater. When God, it was, Lord, if I could help somebody. I never forget it. And a woman, a guy, you know, my phone was going off. And when oh Jesus, I can just cry. When I looked out into the theater, I seen it jam-packed at the top. And you know, it's 500 and something. Yeah. That was 1,070 people at the first play. Wow. Do you remember that?
I wasn't a part of that one.
Okay. So, well, you weren't a part of that one, but the people, my old cast, my very first cast, my babies who I had to spank a lot, but I love you. But the bottom line is, I never forget. I said, God, you have brought all of these people here. Yeah. And he told me, and I never forget this, that every time I step out on the stage with those big earphones, every production, I always remember what he told me. He said, if I be lifted up, then I will draw all men unto me. And that's for every director that's doing plays out there. Yeah. If you keep God first, I promise you, your marketing can be at a superb. God is going to bring who he wants into that theater to hear the messages that he has for that individual that he wants to bring into the theater. I've learned that, you know, we've hit thousands of cars. We've done all type of marketing, promotions, and all of that. Yeah. And all of that come with it. But at the end of the day, he is the one that fills up that theater. And we've had 2 sold-out performances at 1,070. And God is so gracious. It's nothing that we've done so good. It's because of the obedience of me picking who he wanted me to pick, of me doing what he... Now, have I hiccup? Absolutely. Right. I tried to put people in the cast that wasn't supposed to be, and guess what? God would shoot them right back out. And so God had to pat my hands a lot of times, and I'm still learning. But the bottom line is, if you are obedient, anything that you want to do in vision can happen. Absolutely. And the Lord will do it. He will do it himself. God will do it with his right hand. He will bless you. He will bless you. I'm telling you, eyes have not seen nor ears have heard. I promise you. God will bring you places that you never would have even dreamed of. Meeting people that you never would have thought that you would meet. And so in 2018, this is a new thing. It is time for the children of God to take their rightful place in the kingdom so that the souls can be what? Can be saved. Because at the end of the day, this production company is about saving souls. Yep. Everything that we do, whether we sing, whether we dance, whether we write, whether we work in a secular environment, whatever that is always to save a soul.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
That's as real as it gets.
Absolutely.
You don't get no realer than that.
That's right.
And that's one thing that, you know, I'm very appreciative of SeLah's.
Praise God.
Because not only is it glorifying God, but you put a product on the stage that shows you real life. Praise because God. That's what people need to see.
Amen.
And it shows how those people got out of that. There's so many different individual stories, but it's all for one greater purpose. Yes. And that's to save the souls of those people. To save the souls. Every production that we have, the finale, the last scene is always extravagant because when you're in the audience, these people see all these different stories. You know, people who may relate to certain characters on the stage, but at the end, everyone gets to a point where they find God's grace. Absolutely. Now, I know you're busy, very, very busy lady, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up in a few, but...
Look at him bossing me. He's not the boss of me. I'm messing with you.
She would talk all night, y'all.
I would. I love God just that much.
So before we go, first off, I would like to say once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be a part of this vision. Shoot, man, you put me in every part of this vision, whether it's the productions, the upcoming series, got me hosting a show, which is
and I just want to stop you right there because I know you're ready to make me get off the set. You all, this is a blessed young man. He is doing the K-Levy movement outside of SeLah's. That's his vision. His vision, a little boy that didn't have any faith. And he just actually premiered on the Sun stage, the Sunrise Christian Musical Festival, something that he'd been wanting to do for years. And God decided to give him it in 2017, a year of completion, cycled around and completed you with what you desire. God will give you the desires of your heart. I promise you. He will give you the desires of your heart. But you first have to serve him. A lot of people say, well, God gonna give me the desires of my heart. And I used to say that too. But really, when you read the word, you spend time with God, and you read the word. God is his word. What happens is your mind is renewed, and those desires really come from him.
Absolutely.
And that's why he gives you those desires.
Amen.
He really giving you already what he
inside
wants
of you.
inside of you because of the word.
Mm-hmm.
The word renews our mind.
Those seeds been planted since before we were even...
Foundation of the word.
Yep.
But I want you guys to support Kaylin. Kaylin is awesome. Kay Levy. That's the Facebook page.
Yeah, well,
Kay
I'm
Levy.
tagged on here. So
Yeah, so please add him. Young man, motivational. You know, I was a youth director for 14 years. Children and youth are my passion. They are the reason why I found out I was a playwright. Because I had to write plays for the church. I started off in the church. I've been writing plays over, 14 some years.
Yeah.
God has been good to me. But I want you guys to follow Kaylin. Kaylin is awesome. You got to see him on stage.
Playwright, director, award-winning, visionary of SeLah's Productions Incorporated, Ms. Javon. So, man, once again, make sure you guys follow SeLah's Productions Incorporated on Facebook. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that follow button. And on this page right here, Javon Ophelia Butler, if you're not friends with her, go ahead and friend her before she reaches her limit, because I'm sure she's close. And, also make sure you go ahead and follow her so you can see everything going on. Also, make sure you log on to the website, www.selahproductionsincorp.org. You can see everything we have going on. You can donate. We have multiple charities that we donate to during our different productions. And you can also shop with us. We have shirts, hats, and all kind of other cool stuff. So, man, bless y'all.
We're going in with a prayer.
Absolutely. I also want to say, man, thank Bishop Antoine Jasmine once again
the bishop,
for allowing us to stream here. Thank Miss Renitra Jones for this beautiful set once again, man. And God bless y'all, man. Y'all could have been doing anything, but y'all was watching SeLah's spot, so much love.
Absolutely. Well, Kaylin, I want you to lead us out in prayer.
Absolutely.
Let's talk to God. And we want to thank you guys. Thank you all for watching. Put those hearts up there. We love you guys. We love you, love you. I love you. God loves you. And most of all, love yourself. Amen.
Amen. Lord, we thank you. We thank you for this season. We thank you for just the knowledge, the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding that you've granted us. We ask that you continue to bless us with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and good judgment. We ask that you continue to help us, to guide us to follow in the footsteps of your Son, Jesus Christ, so that we may continue to uplift the kingdom of the Lord. Lord, we ask that anyone who is watching SeLah's spot on tonight may receive the messages in the ministry. These were not only questions and answers, Lord. This was a ministry. This was something that needed to reach someone tonight. If it leaves the heart, then it will reach the heart. And we thank you for the opportunity. We thank you for the platform. And we thank you for the just continued blessings that you will continue to give us and everyone that is connected to us. And we ask that you continue to not only elevate us individually, but elevate us as a whole. Enlarge our territory and continue to elevate us in your word, that we may continue to grow spiritually, because as long as we are connected to you and we always doing your work, we will always be blessed. Thank you, Lord. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen, and may the Lord bless you real good. Amen. We love you.